Nobody expected Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett to directly call out Elon Musk during the high-profile hearing. The courtroom fell silent as she pointed directly at the tech billionaire, her voice sharp with authority. "Mr. Musk, your actions demonstrate a pattern of disregard for established legal precedent," she declared firmly. But what happened next left the entire judicial panel speechless. Elon Musk didn't flinch, didn't back down. Instead, he calmly opened a folder that would change everything. The legal challenge that was supposed to humble the world's richest man was about to backfire spectacularly. If you want to see true brilliance in action, watch this entire video and don't forget to like and subscribe for more shocking confrontations that the mainstream media won't show you. The stakes couldn't have been higher. The case, Federal Communications Commission v. X Corp., had reached the Supreme Court after months of escalating tension. At issue was whether Musk's social media platform had violated federal communications guidelines by refusing to implement certain content moderation protocols. Justice Barrett, appointed by former President Trump and known for her strict constitutional interpretation, had established herself as one of the most formidable legal minds in America. With her piercing intelligence and unwavering commitment to legal precision, she had become respected even by those who disagreed with her opinions. Elon Musk sat at the respondents' table, wearing a simple dark suit and blue tie. No flashy, billionaire attire. His lawyers flanked him, but unlike most defendants who let their legal team do the talking, Musk had insisted on addressing the court himself, a move many legal analysts called dangerously overconfident. The government's case seemed strong. For months, media outlets had been reporting on how X Corp had flagrantly ignored established communication regulations. Legal experts appeared on news shows predicting Musk would face devastating penalties. The FCC had compiled what seemed like an airtight case, with documentation showing patterns of noncompliance. "This isn't just about regulations," the Solicitor General had argued in his opening. "This is about whether private companies, regardless of their size or the wealth of their owners, must follow the same rules as everyone else." What nobody realized was that Elon Musk had been preparing for this confrontation for nearly a year, diving deep into constitutional law and precedent in a way that would soon shock the entire legal establishment. Justice Barrett began her questioning with surgical precision. The courtroom was packed with journalists, legal scholars, and spectators, lucky enough to secure a seat for what had become the most watched Supreme Court case in decades. "Mr. Musk, your platform has repeatedly ignored formal requests to comply with Section 230 modifications as outlined in the 2023 Communications Act," Barrett stated, her tone measured but stern. "Would you explain why you believe your company is somehow exempt from requirements that every other communications platform must follow?" Musk leaned slightly toward the microphone. "With respect, Justice Barrett, that's not quite accurate. We've never claimed exemption from valid laws." Barrett raised an eyebrow. "Your actions suggest otherwise. You've received 17 formal notices." 16, Musk corrected calmly. The justice's expression tightened. "Excuse me? There were 16 notices, not 17. And we responded to each one with legal rationales based on established precedent." Barrett shuffled through her papers. "The record provided by the FCC is incomplete," Musk interrupted again, something almost never done to a Supreme Court justice. Audible gasps spread through the courtroom. Chief Justice Roberts appeared ready to intervene, but Barrett held up her hand slightly, indicating she would handle this. Her eyes narrowed. "Mr. Musk, this court has little patience for technical corrections that don't address the substance of the question. Your pattern of regulatory noncompliance is actually a pattern of constitutional compliance," Musk finished, opening the folder in front of him. "And I believe the court would be interested in reviewing evidence that the FCC has deliberately mischaracterized our position." The tension in the room was palpable. Justice Sotomayor exchanged glances with Justice Kagan. Justice Alito leaned forward with visible interest. Barrett's voice took on an edge rarely heard from the bench. Mr. Musk, this court has reviewed the briefs extensively. Are you suggesting the justices have somehow missed critical information? Not at all, Musk replied. I'm suggesting information was deliberately withheld from this court by the petitioners. The Solicitor General shot to his feet. Your Honors, this is an outrageous accusation without foundation. Justice Barrett's voice cut through the chamber. Mr. Musk, those are extremely serious allegations. Without substantial proof, making such claims before this court could significantly damage your credibility and case. Musk remained unruffled. I understand the seriousness, Justice Barrett, which is why I've brought evidence that the FCC's regulatory demands themselves violate 3 separate Supreme Court precedents, including one where you wrote the majority opinion. Barrett's expression didn't change, but those who knew her well could detect the smallest hint of surprise. Which opinion would that be? NetChoice versus Paxton, 2024. Where you specifically wrote that government agencies cannot compel private platforms to adopt content policies that effectively function as government speech controls through regulatory proxy. The courtroom fell completely silent. This was not the response anyone had expected. Justice Thomas, who had been quietly observing, spoke up. Mr. Musk, are you claiming that the FCC directives fall into that category? Yes, Justice Thomas, and I've prepared a detailed analysis demonstrating exactly how. The FCC's lead counsel stood again. Your Honors, Mr. Musk is not a legal expert. His interpretation of Justice Barrett's opinion is fundamentally flawed and self-serving. Barrett, however, was already reviewing the documents Musk's team had handed to the court clerk. Her expression remained unreadable, but she was clearly examining the material with intense focus. Does the petitioner wish to dispute the authenticity of these communications? She asked, looking up at the FCC's counsel. The lawyer hesitated. We would need time to review what's been presented. Justice Barrett then did something unexpected. She turned back to Musk. You came prepared for this. Specific line of questioning. It wasn't a question, but Musk answered anyway. I did, because the constitutional principles at stake extend far beyond my company. This is about whether government agencies can use regulatory authority to achieve what they cannot legally do directly. The atmosphere in the courtroom had completely transformed.